now, and they know that they have the potential to make it to the top 4. Boys, any final thoughts before we go in?
FaZe week.
FaZe week, because that's what you want. Well, we shall see. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in around the world. It is time. Week number 3 starts right here, right now. We are moving on to Erangel. We're going to have 3 Erangel and then 2 Miramar, and it's familiar faces that are going to be bringing you all the action as we head over to Sims and Demon here for the PUBG Europe League.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are into the final week. 41 matches. Well, this will be the 41st in the books with 20 more to go to decide who's going to be the top 4, who's going to take the money, who is going to set their sights on the FACEIT Global Challenge. And, of course, it's actually not about playing Rich. He is joining me for this one. Will we ever see Sosnovka?
Who knows? Anything can happen in this game, and honestly, this week, it's literally game, set, and match. There is no more excuses. There's no more going back to the drawing board. There's no more necessarily reviewing VODs on a night. We have 4 more days of PEL phase number 1, and we have only 4 spots that can go towards FACEIT. Now, we've seen these teams, Frag, Bag, Tag. They've done pretty well so far, but there's 2 teams still without a chicken dinner. And the biggest question on everybody's face is, will they end the phase without that meal ticket?
Well, and the main thing for these teams is obviously, hey, they love playing, obviously, tournament play no matter where it is. But the ultimate goal, no matter what, is to play this big international competition. You want to be there representing Europe. You want to be in amongst the best. Also, a lot of money on the line.
Yep.
We should also add
a hell of a lot of money on the line.
Which a lot of these guys, you know, thinking of the larger teams, you know, your Team Liquids in there, your TSMs, your FaZe Clans, these large organizations are all going to be wanting you to be there. Why are you not at this global finals? That's going to be questions that they will need to answer. But this is, well, a circle we've seen rather often. It is going to the northern side. We'll see whether it swings to the north or goes further south. There's a bit of history on these circles. You've been working away on these circles over the weekend, I saw. I say weekend. Weekends for us is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's
but
whenever we can get the time off, to be honest with you. Yeah, we had, I think so far, it's been 4 circles in total that have been in the northern area. 1 just above Georgia Paul, 1 just above Roshok, and then 3 mainly above Yasnaya, which is basically ENCE's back door, to be honest. That's where they linger. That's where they like to sit. It's kind of gone in their favour, but we do have a good cluster of teams that are actually faced up in the north. M19, their home in Yasnaya. Crowd have extended a little, not necessarily too much, but certainly further deeper into enemy territory. Set's already on the move. He's got the vehicle. He's looking for a good foothold on the map. The interesting one is Na'Vi. This is a different show of aggression from them. They've gone further into the middle, clearly, obviously divided by the playing path. It's not necessarily over towards that Georgia Paul side. They're not going to go diving out and bailing out. They know Red Diamonds like to take Sosnovka as a backup plan. I think if we're looking towards not necessarily a more difficult time, but the ones who will be later to this party, it's probably going to be Reiji Reg. They've only just got out of the water. They were on the boats that made it to Prim. But necessarily that's not something we'd see Changeley because they're always late to the party and last to the circle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, their choices are down in Primorsk or North George. So when there's an Eastern Plain, they don't kind of have a back door. Whereas like, think of obviously NIP.
Yep.
Their backup option is Lipovka, which has worked out pretty well for them. Probably one of the most consistent teams last week. A team that's coming onto your screen here, though, is one that is going to have a lot of interest. You know, I just had a quick chat with Mexi, and like he said, it's like, we are basically coming into tournament play now. This is a tournament competition, 20 games. It's like you're turning up in Kiev for your Star Ladders or into Stockholm for your GLLs. You know, you're turning up tournament play. This is where the big boys will perform. It's kind of like you're coming in seeded. We're only 20 points behind 4th place. Everything to play for.
Potentially first kill coming out of the day and of the week.
Oh,
there
yeah.
goes up and over and set. Now, that's one of Crowd's, if not strongest player.
Yep.
Individually as a fragger and more importantly as a ranger. He does a lot of scouting. He does tremendous work with the sniper rifles. We did say he's probably one of the standout players individually on that team. So to lose him so early on, clearly by his own demise as well, you could see the vehicle was on the side just saying, please do not kill me. Actually, we've had an answer back. Alf players managed to pick up Sadovnik, so whether that's been
that's crossfire. Yeah, he's on
range.
He's on the crossroads, the Mini 14, so it was kind of deep down. That's a pretty decent range shot, to be fair.
It's kind of a game of chess, right? You've taken one, but You've easily given up your position, easily given up your body. So he's claimed that scalp, and at least it's an easy refrag. So the trade's there. Points go either way. Remember, this is 1 point per kill. And those points make prizes. It's a very, very kill-heavy game. If you're down in the bottom area, you get no points for the placement, unfortunately. If you get up high, then you're laughing. But certainly, if you're picking up frags along the way, you're going to be moving up that leaderboard, which is what you attested to about FaZe. For them, coming into this, for me, it's not just about winning. They need to win in style. They need to win with a ton of kills under the belt if they want to make it to London.
They need to get that fear factor back in play, I think, is what's
That's
lacking for them.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of teams will be like, oh, God, who's pulled up? You get a knock and you're like, oh, God, his FaZe next door. It's like, that's gone. That doesn't exist anymore. So that sort of thing they need to return. A lot of teams are going to be looking at this. We're hitting the 5-minute mark, so you can see the rotations are coming in. Says Vitality heading up to the yellows. Should be fairly safe in there. M19 taking a couple of shots, and we can see Na'Vi sharing the compound just ahead of them, which Nasus is having a peek at. He's pulled up on his UAZ to see what's going on. Notices someone's next door. Okay, let's keep the car safe, and took it down. M19 choosing to go for the garage. So these are all the, well, I say southern compounds, the southern compounds on the northern side. That means a lot of these teams are predicting that it will swing to the north side of the lake. You can see Center Point kind of is on the lake, really. It's the Yasnaya Lake, so it's better to play it safe in the northern side than the south, based on the amount of compounds that are available. Looking where TSM are, where the Knights are, a lot to play for down there. Looks like the Knights are going to stick with a 2-2 down that way, so they're playing their hand down south. Interesting to see the workings of the in-game leaders here, because I'm looking at like Team Liquid. They're thinking, okay, the odds-wise, we need to go north.
I'm intrigued to see if anyone decides to try and set up a trap and potentially, in fact, it might have happened. If you look on that west coast now, FaZe are running their usual route into a circle from where they would in the north, out of Milta and straight up that coastline. But NIP will be taking a couple of shots on them. A couple of them are mainly inside the garage. Ooh. Nightsea gets a bit of a warning, at least. Sniper will come out, Uber spins it out, but I think they'll get away.
Well, he's going to be slow up the hill.
The 4-man stack, yeah, because the Darcy has stopped, you will not be able to continue in first gear. You'll have to back it up and readjust, but I expect him to just carry on as normal. And maybe from the Knights, it might have been an idea to do so. I mean, again, doing your homework in a team like FaZe, they will have known they'll be looting there. The Lippo is their secondary backup drop point, so they're going to go, and they do have a tendency to stick around and linger, and especially with this circle, there's no reason for them. Again, playing the game, what everyone seems to be doing, it's dive bombing middle, right?
Yeah.
Now we're in this point where teams want to be picking up kills. The question is anybody can sit on the edge and maybe try and pick up scavengers who come in last. Like, for instance, I still think Raise Your Edge going so slow is their biggest detriment. I think they're their worst enemy with how they play. They always tend to come outside of the blue. And even in the times that we've actually seen them have the circle, they still stuck around in the usual position, not had to adjust much, but other teams have got ahead of the game in front of them. Especially on Miramar, the more northern maps where they like to go, when the circle's up north, they tend to linger still. They don't go central when they could get ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, and ahead of everybody else.
That said, they do have 4 wins.
They do. You know, it's been paying well. I will say that. Week 1 was certainly a difficult week for them, but they really, really stepped it up in week number 2.
The problem is that they're kind of in that TSM groove of, like, they'll either win, but they won't win big, or they'll go 16th. Yeah, the problem is, whereas TSM, when they win, they tend to win with a lot of kills. That's been the difference between the two teams. G2, we're seeing on your screens, is burning through the fields. South of Yasnaya looking for themselves a spot. Looks like it's probably going to be the garage just before the bridge. I'm guessing seems to be their location phase. You can see still going along that north. Standard phase rotation for them. Windstrike and Red Diamonds also came in. Team Liquid creeping closer to the shooting range. They're going to go for that hill spot, which NIP used to play so often. Speaking of NIP, they're still way out in the east. It's been a very slow rotate for them, so they chose to just loot longer and stick around.
You were speaking about Raise Your Edge and then moved into G2, and the night and day differences between week 1 and 2. Week 1, we saw Raise Your Edge go from 14th place, that they ended the week, and then they ended week 2 on 4th. A huge jump. G2, week number 1, first place, gold medal, job done. Week 2, 10th. They're still in 3rd, don't get me wrong. Hard shift comes in just as I hear a scream in the background. I was looking at the numbers. And it goes to the south. And that will mean that everyone who's set up and banking on... I mean, to be fair, when you looked at it, there was more land ratio in the south because of the water. There was a tighter gap.
But still,
it's completely bald. It's completely open. There's nobody in the south whatsoever. Raise Your Edge may have been given a lifeline here.
Yeah, TSM are sitting pretty. I think Raise Your Edge are kind of over-rotating themselves, actually. Probably didn't expect so many teams to bank on that northern swing. FaZe, who had just arrived way up on the beach line towards Severny Way, have got this massive long rotate. Now we're seeing the Knights. They went for the 2-2 split. They're taking shots onto G2 as they pass on by. You can see Na'Vi and the Jokers on the edge of rozhok, and Tab catches Batulin as he goes on by. And that's Na'Vi now down to 2 already.
Ironically, we've actually had 9 circles end in this area. That's going to be 6 of them alone just to the south of Yasnaya. That field where the Knights are actually set up at note, when next time we bring the map up, you'll be able to have a look at it. The Knights might be banking on it going that way because we have had a cluster of eastern finishes that have all been in that same location. I would say probably at the moment your strongest compounds are going to be, you mentioned it, where TSM are going to be set up. They're spread, especially on that ridgeline around Volcano area. They might be able to scoot a few teams that are going on by.
From playing the odds, I mean, I guess that's almost 50%. Almost 50% of the circles we've had, because obviously we've only played 20 games on Erangel. So when you're looking at that, you're thinking, well, probably we should sit around here. Maybe that's what TSM were thinking, or maybe they just played it slow. I don't know. Vitality, they've got themselves on the edge of rozhok. They're choosing to sit out here. Of course, Jokers were on the far side of rozhok as well. Team Liquid going back to the hill. Remember, they start out in Pochinki. They're going to go around to the compound just to the north side of Potato Hill. That's where Samty and Jempty are heading right now. FaZe Clan making the way down the far west coastline, east coastline, along with ENCE, also sort of running parallel with them almost. Don't really know where the locations are going to find. Maybe, looks like Alamo in the warehouse is available. We just saw G2 kind of there a moment ago. Looks like it is still free. NIP have got, are they in heaven, are they? Or I'm trying to see where they are. Oh, no, they're not. They're in the Liquid compound. In the Liquid compound at the moment, NIP, of course, which we've seen a lot of action on over last week. A lot of teams fighting for it. Here's ENCE, the number 1 team, Tripoli and Rustanma.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better duo leading the pack, certainly. When you talk about individual fragging prowess, second in week number 1, first in week number 2. That's actually a headshot while he was crossing the crossing the wall, so he was vaulting over, and a bullet just says hello. Okie dokie. A man who we know can play in an open field, especially when he's got a sniper rifle in his hand, which he does. One of the few players that uses a sniper rifle. Okay, they're good. They're very, very good when you look towards M24s, Kar98s, but certainly people are more opting for the minis just because of the durability and more viable. You want to say if someone comes in a building or someone's up close and personal to you, you can just tap fire them down. But individually standing, when you're looking at these guys that can use the snipers to that level, especially on a vaulting wall, it's you can kiss your backside goodbye.
NIP on this 2-2 split. TSM very well spread out at the moment, trying to cover as much as the center as they can. It does center up pretty well. TSM are sitting golden right now, but they don't really have themselves too many places. Wookie Bookie's in the Alamo there. I expect that might be a spot that might get crashed here. He's going to have to be careful being on his own.
And the thing is, if there's ever a time to do it, that want to get involved,
look at this south spot.
It'd have to be now.
There's 3 teams going for this compound. ENCE, G2, and Windstrike all coming into the same spot. G2 back out. And I think Windstrike just spotted the bikes. And how many times have we seen ENCE and Windstrike clashing? Windstrike back away.
It was the time to do it and the time to get inside a building. It's now. If you actually wanted to breach one, I'd also say it's now, because when you move further into the late game, the later circles, this is when you have teams third-partying, this is when you have teams stealing and knocking from a distance and just getting themselves involved. And more importantly, it's when you're driving through all those heavy involved areas, you're weak turning up to buildings, you're damaged, your vehicles are smoking. If you can get inside a building now at this rate, instead of, or take a fight at this position, rather than being third-partied, it's the best time to do it. An interesting one from FaZe, they've gone for the ditch. We do know that ditch can be extremely powerful, and they're usually going to 2-2 split just off to their left-hand side. You can see the ridgeline, you can see what's going on. Tixu didn't quite go down, but his teammate unfortunately did nuke it. He's picked up by Kent G2, and that's a second one in the bag, so job done. this is what I was speaking about. Running these gauntlets now where players are spread around this circle because it's small, unfortunately, you're going to get dropped on entry.
FaZe are going for it. They're going over the road, and it's tricky for the Knights because they're wedged at the moment in this ditch. You can see nades back and forward. NIP is still in the liquid compound in the distance, so they can't back away from this fight. They have to take it on, and FaZe are looking to try and do just that. Mexi finds himself one.
Good angle
that
from
nade
Uber.
could catch them both on the tree. They have to back
Look
away
at
from
how
it.
spread.
Right on top of Reels. Now Voxic and Kramer and Fuzzface, as you mentioned, look at him on the side with Uber, getting all the flank angles. Now the shots coming in from behind by NIP. Then G2 are driving towards this as well.
The execution is going perfectly. Unfortunately, that grenade has found one, so now they're forced to back off because the nades are coming up and over. But I think G2 in the background, we can see them turning up to this party. The Sharks, they've smelled blood in the water and they want to get involved, but Uber's falling back. This could be a good point from him to stand their ground and hold them off the back of FaZe. FaZe were doing well there,
yeah,
but
Mexico
now, unfortunately,
caught.
they've just been stabbed in the back. Uber has to save them.
Yeah, Kane there, but Uber's got zero cover. This is just a straight-up play. Gets around the side. He's going to get the surprise factor and the flush, but what else has he got? Doesn't matter. He's got the support coming in as well from the side there. A couple of shots from 8Z, and now Uber, look at it. There's no cover for him to back away from, so he just had to try and run and hide.
I loved how you picked up on it. Okay, he didn't have the cover. He didn't have much to play with, but more importantly, he had the information. The team was on the other side of the road, guiding his bullets practically, saying, look, player coming up now, time to go, which he did. Jumps up, nails the guy, pushes him back, but more importantly, he gives them he relieves that level of pressure. But we are late in the game here, Lee. There's not many compounds that are going to be up for grabs, and FaZe are going to have to do some work to get out of this ditch.
Yeah, they've gone into this ditch. Now, the G2 can still hit it from this side.
I was about to say, Wookie will be able to see him.
From Alamo. Another thing, actually, this circle is centered right on top of Team Liquid. They're laughing right now. Another team I wanted to talk about before this action played out was Vitality, struggling to find a home, which is ironic when they start around school and apartments.
The firing squad's turned up late. Unfortunately, FaZe are going to be out in the open here. Wookie looking this information, so they've fallen back. There is nowhere for FaZe to go, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's outside the circle as well, so they have to move from this spot. G2 have leapfrogged them. They've gone to the side. NIP are kind of pulling up on the hill, so that might distract TSM. Yeah, you can see they're going to be on the hillside in the background there. They're going to be putting the pressure down. That's G2 shots you saw just landing on FaZe Clan there. As NIP try to make the move, but Rory finds Miraku.
I think FaZe just need to send it and fly the hell out of that position. It's terrible. People can see them from two different angles. But again, it's the same position as before. Where do you really go when everyone else is crammed inside the circle? I think G2 might play border patrol to FaZe and physically keep them out of the circle.
Where's King going? King's going all the way back. I don't know what he was doing, but Fuzzface has found him. Fuzz was on the rotate. I think G2...
I thought they'd have fed that info and maybe helped them.
I think G2 just felt their position was getting flanked. They tried to back out of it. Either way, it backfired on them. M19, they've gone for a push on towards Crowcrowd, and Crowcrowd going down here. Alphplays, you can see in the distance, just crawling away. So looks like they are down to one, I believe, now, Crowcrowd. It's just the one remaining in there. Of course, Seth was lost early on. NIP, they've also stuck around in these yellows. That's holding the Knights off just down to 2 in the hills.
NIP aren't fully in the circle, though. Looks like Gax is up on the hillside behind them. The fight continues between FaZe and G2. It'd be nice for them to be able to get a bit of revenge here early on, because G2 literally smashed FaZe's plan of attack all up together. If they'd have been able to wipe out the Knights that had taken up their position, that they got the point. Speaking of literally taking out the Knights, as I say that, bang, bang, thank you very much. Rory picks up a double. That's 2 points in the bag for him. When else are we lingering around? What's going down? Oh, I think Windstrike have gone. Was that the last? That was the last individual from, can't remember the player's name. I did cop for it, but we saw 2 go down earlier on, and then a third one now followed up. So we've lost 2 teams literally within seconds.
Yeah, I think it was Tixu, the last one that maybe didn't quite catch it myself there. Crowcrowd, they've got to be careful here. NIP are creeping in behind M19. They're tossing stuff down. Crowcrowd at the other side of them. Luckily for M19, it is a strong compound, so I don't think they need to be too worried about from their backs here by NIP. It's Crowcrowd they should be focusing on.
They'll take control of the Volcano, will NIP. It's a good spot, mainly because you can't be seen from several different angles. Ooh. Wake up call, knock knock, Magister's at the door. Let's go on one, but M19 got to get themselves back up. There's been a couple of knocks going on there. I might have expected him to actually shoot through the door, to be honest, but clearly didn't want to overextend because Constantine was upstairs.
Alpha's pushing. Look at this. This play from Alphplays could work out well for him if he needs to check his positions. He knows there's one in the side here, but he's sprinting in. What in the world was he thinking? Just sprinting in without his gun. Oh, my word.
Oh, they're pushing him.
I'm sorry, you cannot do that at this level. You cannot do that at this level. That's a standard siege. You were down to a 2-on-2. You don't just sprint in. You check your angles.
I mean, I respect the aggression, but you know, it's a ballsy play to go in there and give him it. But when you're literally just running in and not checking angles, then it's going to be a problem. Now, for NIP, they've just heard all this going off. They can say, well, the welcome wagon's open, boys. Come run through the blue. You'll be half health. We'll pick you up one by one. They just have to be aware that Digital Athletics will have a line of sight if they crest that left-hand side of the hill. Yeah,
they're pushing in on NIP. The circle is hard shifted once again. This time it goes across to the left. There is a crate coming down. It's actually gone into the compound, and Na'Vi are sitting pretty right now. They're in that little yellow NIP. Well, you know, I don't know if you saw the stats in the short break we had. NIP, I think they had all 4 players in the top 10 nade damage. They are very strong with the nades. It's probably proven why they did so well last week. Vitality are pushing onto the back of Raise Your Edge. That's happening on the hillside. Red Diamonds, they are actually in the same position where they won a game in this similar circle last time around.
Gax is the man to watch for NIP. I mean, he's got 10k damage single-handedly on the board in this Pro League so far. Speaking of damage, Cup of Magic takes a grenade to his right-hand side. Znark wants to answer back. All 4 members of Raise Your Edge are live. This is good to see from this team. They sometimes lose an individual on rotation now and again. Speaking, as soon as I say that, another one follows through. But they are playing Border Patrol here. They could keep Vitality out. Now, what you guys don't see at home, literally creeping up behind Vitality, we have the Finns. Ents are here to play, and they are not messing around. They could single-handedly smash 2 teams out of the competition here in Game 1.
And Vitality are not looking. They're not even watching this. Ents are going to be on the before they know it. Senpai coming from the side. Here comes Ensa coming in behind, and Vitality, well, they're in all sorts of trouble. They don't know it. Now they do. Ruslan Mar gets up. He catches Shadow in the back, and Nasus and Jazz are the last 2 standing in the smoke here, trying to push on towards the yellows, but the Finns are coming, and they're looking for blood.
I'm really worried about G2. They actually want to get involved in this, but they're only a 2-man band. I think if Chris turns up on his own, okay, the man can frag, but he'll see 2 teams kicking the living hell out of one another. That's a big set of kills from him to respond like that to the onslaught that was coming from the opposing side, but they still got to be aware of ends. It's okay taking out one team. You've got to focus on the next.
I think they're both down to 1 right now. It's just Jazza, and I think is it Fast Rail to the left? I didn't quite catch the name of it on the left-hand side, but yeah, Ensa coming in. They're going to try and flush them out. There's Raise Your Edge down. There's Vitality down. Meanwhile, the Jokers catching out FaZe Clan. I think FaZe Clan went down in that. No, tell a lie. Aitzy still managed to get himself in there. He's the only member. They've sent it for the center circle. Kind of gone into snake mode there next to Team Liquid.
Everything kind of went wrong from at the start. Fuzzface does go down, but as Lee said, you do have this Aitzy backup plan smack bang in the middle. Next objective for TSM, ninjas in pajamas. They are not ninjas when they're hiding in grass. They are stood up and ready to rock and roll. The smokes are down. They're laying up this one. Can Wookie get a pick, though? That's the bigger question. In the backlines, you might see Digital Athletics maybe put a puncture wound into NIP if they get some sort of line of sight on them, but I think it's denied just by the crest of that hill. Rory might be able to get some information here and feed it to the rest of TSM, who might flood the edge of the circle.
Centers. It's centers.
Not too far from them, but they do have to cross the road. And, in fact, they don't. So this position, actually, whoever can take out one of these 2 between the 2 teams will be a strong point.
Yeah, it's that little ridge line you just saw there. Digital Athletics, I like the aggression. They actually came out of their compound over the road to look and pressure. NIP didn't work. They backed away quite happily.
I was surprised no one actually took a shot to us, and that's what I mentioned. They can't. Literally must have been millimeters away from having the line of sight.
Senpai going in. Diamonds moving in. This is the compound that Na'Vi managed to get into, and still we're just 2 alive, hanging on to it. The question is, how long for? Joker's moving in along the bottom edge. That's a nade. That is spot on. Wookie catches him with the car, actually stole it away there. I'm surprised it wasn't the instant kill confirmed there. Iroh catching D-Mash out. That's the Joker's making a move. I tell you what, Digital Athletics, they're outside the circle at the moment. They're making plays.
Rory's actually been punched in the back. That's the third party once again. The nade come through, the confirmation. The initial pick actually came off Wookie Bucky in the back of the Kar98, 3 times on the back from Gustav, a man who can certainly with the aggression, but they need to deny this res. If NIP get back to 3, then they can cause problems. At the moment, it looks like they might be able to get that res. A good grenade would seal the deal for NIP. They could hold the line here, Lee. They could do pretty well, especially if Miracle manages to land a shot, which he does. So there's the response, and here comes the aggression.
You can see Miracle going for it. Spots Rory. Saw the muzzle flash, I think, through the smoke side there. You can see Wookie wants to confirm the kills, tries to get the spray on the backside of Rory. Rory doesn't realize it. He's focused so much on towards Gaxi. Will get the knockdown on 1, but can't confirm it. And the TSM will go down in 10th place. NIP should be able to get everyone back on their feet. You can see Gaxi. So he's just going to be down to 3. And that will give him the roadside edge. But Digital Athletics, they're Enzo coming over the road.
This could be fun, Miraku. You've got to step it up one more time, my friend, if you want to survive and hold this ridge. Vad's overextending
he's
for
going
that
for the
crate.
crate.
He doesn't realise that they're actually here. They're point blank knocking on the door. If he gets to level 3 gate, it might be able to give him some level of survivability.
It's all
Actually, I think DA, as far as they've laid smoke down, Team Liquid maybe pincered them a little bit to force them back here.
Enzo just got themselves a crate as well. They're moving south. Chris is on his own. He gets one, gets two. Oh, he didn't actually manage to get the next one. He tries to push around. He was very low. Gemty there pushes away. Going to go for the revive as they're being pushed in. But you got to be worried when Chris is storming your apartment. No matter whether he's solo, will take him down. And Team Liquid eliminate G2. Trifoli is coming down the hillside. He's going to find himself a 8-seat any moment.
They're going for it.
Digital Athletics around the side. Sixmo gets Miraku down. It leaves Gaxi, who's just been revived, all alone. He goes down. NIP flushed out. They're going to be 6th place for them, I think, because the Jokers went down just before that. AT finds Trifoli. That nade just rolled in. I tell you what, AT is doing a blinding job staying alive, but I think Enzo got him sus now. Oh, and that's another circle shift right into a field.
Ooh, and DA can sit pretty. They have a ridgeline they can hide off the back of, and more importantly, it's encapsulated by the circle. So no one can really push up on the side of them, but they do have to go over the road, which will leave them exposed. The question is, do they sit here, do they hold this ridge, or do they extend further into the circle and fight the battles? They've been aggressive so far, Digital Athletics. I want to see them keep up this pace.
Na'Vi have been gifted this circle once again.
Time to go.
Enzo picked up 8 kills. They've just been dominating from that ridgeline. We didn't really watch a great deal of the Jokers and Red Diamond battle going for it. Liquid are launching for it. They've got themselves this line here. James caught out in the move, so Iroh catching one down. That's a nade. I think that just came out from 8C.
That's really going to pin Ibby back. They've denied James the res altogether, and now Ibby's forced to sit back and unfortunately leave his 2
James is gone,
teammates.
FaZe is gone, so that's 5th place for FaZe Clan. They're going to go down. It's down to the last 4.
This is great work from DA. They have not rested. They have moved in. They've set up a ridgeline. 4 of them spread out. Liquid are in the middle now. Don't count out Liquid yet. However, the man advantage is there. Mert, don't overextend, my friend, because you'll get a nade lob right at your head.
Liquid made this move into the center point early, and it's just painted them as a target for everyone. You can see Enzo taking shots, Na'Vi actually taking shots onto Ents, meanwhile, in the hillside. Digital Athletics, meanwhile, are trying to move down and create their own circle. The question is, how much utility do they have? Because Smokes is really playing a massive part in it. You can see Mert caught out there as Mikaz makes his way forward.
Yeah, we did say he had to watch his angles. He overextended a little bit too far. Got a bit overzealous on wanting those kills from the side of Liquid. But now it comes down to Squeaky. What more damage can you do? Because they essentially need to knock out Team Liquid here and take that position to get inside the circle. Otherwise, they are point-blank pinned back.
Enter's the team that everybody's trying to chase down now. Squeaky caught out. Rostamman and Mikaz still alive. They are sitting pretty at the top, the only team with 300 points. Na'Vi, a team that absolutely need all the points they can get. They've only got themselves the 1 kill, and that was the first one of the game that Sadovnik got. Ivica gets another there. Mikaz down, and now Team Liquid, I think they're down to 2. It's just the 2 Finns.
10 kills in the bag. This shows you why they are currently #1 in the Pro League so far. Nades are going up and over. Rustamman's been confirmed. One more player will be kicking around for Ents. How much further can he go?
Oh, he's on 1 hit point.
To the north. Gemty already in. The brothers in arms. As soon as I say that, curse of the caster. Wham, bam. Thank you, man. Bullets to the back of the head, and he's down.
Look at DA. Look at the movement. They have actually, I'm really impressed with DA today. They have turned up alive and fighting, looking for the circles. They've gone aggressive. They picked themselves up 2 wins previously to this. And now it's looking like they may well get themselves another. Mikaz down, that's Enter eliminated in 4th place, but they had themselves 10 kills plus in there as well. But Digital Athletics, they're in prime position. Iroh's the man going looking for Na'Vi.
The question is, what can Na'Vi do to DA? If he does some damage to him, maybe a pick, maybe a cheeky kill here and there, Samty might be able to step up and take a one-on-one fight with Sixmo. Samty's not inside the circle, so he really is relying on Na'Vi to do some damage here and take advantage of a crack in the armor. There's 3 players alive, but they are split amongst 2 different teams. 6 individuals, 3 teams up, 3 for DA, 2 for Na'Vi, and then Samty, the Lone Ranger for Team Liquid.
What's he going to do? He's got to creep his way in a little bit here. You're hearing the tap-in. Really, for Samty to come out on top here, he needs them to engage one another so he can go make the strike.
What I think will happen, if he sees Recrent land one of those headshots with the Kar 98, then he'll push in, and then he'll move, and then he'll actually go for it. But unfortunately, it's actually Na'Vi who see him. And now they're giving the information away by putting the tracer fire down to Samty. Sixmo should get a read on where Samty's going to be located, which makes it even harder to get this 2nd place.
He's got himself safe to the rock now, I believe. The rock and the tree. So he's got himself good cover there at the moment. Of course, the circle, nobody touching that crate.
It's just bait, to be honest with you. If you go near it, unfortunately, you will be dying.
Sixmo, he's not looking left at all, you know. Samti's just the other side, the brow of the hill. As soon as that smoke starts to clear, there's only so much utility left. He's got an idea that somebody's back there, but Poca Molodoi down. Iroh, he's so big in his plays. He's the one that turned on NIP last time around, but he's been down by the nade. Samti strikes, Poca Molodoi down, confirms, steals that kill away. Saw him a down player, went for the frag in the end now, and now he's looking for Sixmo. Beautiful death meanwhile, trying to get the spray down onto Recrent. Finds one, finds two, couple of taps on him. Recrent's going to finish Iroh off, I think, in the distance there. So now it's going to be DA down to 2, with Team Liquid and Navi on 1.
We can't put Samti out just yet.
No, definitely not.
He's a man who can do a tremendous amount of damage. He's already confirmed one of knocking out Iroh, who's essentially their biggest fragger. The problem is that he might run into Recrent.
Sixmo's not looking. Now Sixmo's going for the spray. He sees Recrent, gets the spray down, can't finish it off. Recrent hits the dirt with 3 hit points. That's all he had left. Sixmo will find him, and Navi are down, and now it's going to be Samti in a 2v1. He's spotted. They know where he is. He's going to go looking for Sixmo.
He'll know that DA are down there in the bottom of the leaderboards as well, so he doesn't have to give this one up and run out to the blue. Every single kill's a point for him. He's just got to be aware that there's one up close and personal, and then one with a sniper on the back. 25 hit points removed from his back, but he's got the stims on, so the health will go around.
Switch from the scope to the red dot. Wants to work it with the red dot. Tries to get it down, gets the big knock. Doesn't take any damage, but bang!